encouragement, she was a choir director and music facilitator in Mehrabad and Merazad when she and Peter lived in India. Now, whenever she is there, Debbie continues to direct a Mehrabad choir for Amar Tithi, Baba's birthday, and other occasions. That's my birdie talk. Through the Mandali, Debbie came to learn of the 7 Names of God song, which Baba carefully composed, and its incredible history. It was sung hundreds of times in different phases of his advent. We are very fortunate to hear some of the history of this remarkable song and a little bit about its place in Baba's work. We ask you to please mute your computer during this presentation. Welcome, Debbie.
Well, thank you, everybody. This is a way we can say hello to each other with our fingers. It's so great to see you all here. And before we get into the 7 Names of God, which this will be the first time I ever really talked about it, that I can remember, really talked, I thought I would start with a quote. First of all, we remember the quote where Baba says, "The remedy for all ills is to remember me constantly and wholeheartedly," unquote. And Debbie's quote is, "What better way to remember him than to sing his name?" So first we're going to be singing Baba's name. And this is what Mani says about Baba's name. She said, "What's in a name? Everything when it's his name." She loved to quote Kabir, "Ram's name is yours for the looting. Loot all you can while you can before time and body pass away." So today we are like pirates looting Baba's name. And we will start with a wonderful dune that is sung both at Amar Tithi and also at Baba's birthday. And dune just means a repetition of God's name. And here you will hear, oops. Thanks, Betty. I wasn't quite ready, but I'm glad to hear you are. That's awesome. So here you will hear Ted leading a bunch of us singing together, Baba's birthday morning, Mehrabad, 5 a.m. And I want you to listen for the button at the end. It'll be a little surprise. So here we go. Let's everybody mute and take it away, Betty. And I wanted you to hear the wonderful accidental clang at the end. That was the tiffin lid for the prasad for Baba's birthday. So see, it took you right to the tomb. Let's everybody unmute for a minute and say, Jai Baba. Meher Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Meher Baba.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Okay. How lucky we are. Meher. Okay. I'm muting you again. That was, I feel refreshed after doing that. I'm going to talk a little bit now about the 7 names of God. And I've got some references from Lord Meher, but before I even do that, I think I'll just talk about the first time I ever heard it. It had such an impact on me because of the haunting melody. I noticed, and maybe you have noticed, that it was very similar to the Gujarati Arti, the beautiful Arti that is sung. So I often thought, well, it must be that, Baba wrote it and based it on the Gujarati Arti. And we do believe that is what happened. Baba would like a melody and use it for several reasons, several purposes, several sets of lyrics. And we have discovered that in 1924, it's in Mera Meher, there was a time when they were in Bombay and Mera was there with her mother and others. And there had been singing outside all night long. It was not Baba singing, but the next morning, Baba said to all of them, and he was still speaking, I have composed this arti. And he sang the Bujave beautifully. And he gave it to her written down. And then unfortunately, she would say later, I don't know whatever happened to that piece of paper. So we do think that the melody was written in 1924 when Baba was still singing. And what would happen is that's how things were shared with one another, was the oral tradition. I would sing it to you and you would all learn it. And then you would keep singing it over and over so that you had it memorized. So that is what happened with, this is to the best of our knowledge. Other places say that Baba didn't compose the Bujave till 1926, but I'm going with what it said in Mera Meher. Then I wanted to tell you that the first time the 7 names of God is recorded as being sung was in 1927, and Baba had the boys from the Meher Ashram learn it. And I love it. He would have them stand with hands folded on top of Mehrabad Hill. Can you imagine? Facing east. That means facing where Lower Mehrabad is. And they would sing this over and over again. How sweet that must have been to hear those boys singing it. The next time we have it recorded, and that went on for some time, but then it's also mentioned in 1931, Baba named the Panchvati cave, and the men mandali were called. A canvas was hung in front of the cave's entrance, and sitting on the ground in front of it all the people chanted for 1 hour this simple prayer that had been dictated by Baba, the 7 names of God. So there we have it in 1931. Then most of you must have heard how it was used quite often with the women's ashram, and from 1940 on in the Blue Bus tours. And this is what Baba said, so I'll do a little quoting here. Tomorrow, all of you write down the 7 names of God and learn them by heart after 7 days. Then you have to sing from your heart. Hari Paramatma Allah Ahuramazda God Yezdan Hu. So all must sing it from the heart. The orders that I will give to each will have to be obeyed 100%. Try your utmost. You will have helped me by doing your best. If you obey fully, you have helped me fully. If you obey ordinarily, you help me ordinarily. Have this very clear. So as a music teacher, I'm thrilled to see Baba encourage, like anything, to say sing it wholeheartedly. And not only that, that the singing helped Baba. And I think I want to take a little aside here and say how Baba would use activities for his work. Erich would often say that Baba loved to take a small group to the theater, and while they're all watching the movie, all engrossed, including, 300 people in the audience plus the 10, 12 people he brought, Baba was doing his work, and he had explained, which Erich told us, that when all minds are focused on one thing, it was very nice. It was a nice medium for his work. So I like to think, what does that mean that it helped Baba completely? Or what did he say? Completely, wholeheartedly, doing your best. Yes, you will have helped me fully. Isn't that amazing? Okay, then it continued on during the Blue Bus. He would have them sing it for a half hour a day, sometimes at 5:30 in the morning. And sometimes later in the afternoon, he would shift the times that they would sing it. And I wanted to quote this too, because I thought it was sweet. You must have the fixed idea in your mind that all these names are one. The vibration of your repetition helps. These names I have so selected and arranged that they vibrate and help if done with feeling. I intend for the musts to sing this. They will help more because their minds work either too fast or too slow so that it seems at a stop. So there he's even saying that the musts are going to help in his work singing this song. And then there's one last little vignette about it before I have us sing it. You might have heard a time when in 1940, the women were at a place called the Calicut. Baba had gone there, and he was doing work with Chatti Baba, the must, a favorite must of Baba's. Soon he went out to look for other musts. One day, after working with Chatti Baba, Baba came to the women smiling and remarked, "My work was most satisfactory today. I am very, very happy." And Margaret Kresk would always say, Baba never looked happier than when he was working with the musts. To celebrate this is Lord Mayor, Baba distributed bhaja and chowda. Baba's face was glowing like a full moon and his eyes radiated light. The women were awestruck and began chanting the prayer, Hari Paramatma Allah Huramaz, God Yazdanhu. So spontaneously they started singing. Some of the women were so exhilarated in his presence, they began dancing for him. They were like mastanis while gazing at his beauty. And only Mani, Rano, and Norina maintained their sense of decorum. Baba then went to work with the men and handed out treats. They too behaved peculiarly. It was an unusually joyous day on the Blue Bus tour. After that, things returned to normal. And the very last one I wanted to say, which was, I can't find it, so I'm just going to tell you that the war had really worked up to a peak in 1942, and the different tours were still going on. And Baba then once again said to please sing the 7 names of God. And in Lord Meher, it's written that it was a crucial time globally during that war effort. I wonder what he was doing with that song. And then it goes on in 1948. It was used at the grand opening of the new Dharmashala, the bungalow that was built and opened in 1948. But what I like to think is that when we sing it, maybe we're helping a little bit. I know it's helping us. And we have a direct link to something that our Lord and Master himself composed, and that our voices join all those other voices. They say sound goes on and on. All those other voices that have ever sung it. So today we're going to sing it with the Women Mandali, a recording with them. And I just want to point out one thing as a music teacher. What can I do? I had to point out one thing, that the melody is slightly different when it gets to this one part. Instead of like in the Bujave, we go, Hari Para Matmala Ahurama, like that. But here we go, Hari Para Matma Allah. So they go, Nala. The Allah has a little hop in it. It doesn't do what we think it does for Bujave. So there's your 10-second music coaching for it. And now we are going to sing along with the Women Mandali. You will have a video. Let's see.
Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu Hari Para Matama Allah Ahuramas God Yazdanhu. Jai Baba.
Oh, so beautiful. Are there any questions about 7 names, etc.? Okay. Oh, Jean. Jim.
I got her name on me. It seems like they don't say Yezdan, it's Yezdan. How do they pronounce that?
Well, they say yes, Don, God. You hear the kind of schwas on God. Yes, Don. Who?
Yezdan. Okay.
Yeah, it is Yezdan. And I meant to. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Jim. I wanted to say that was Sherry Argy's favorite name of a god. And Mani used to say that you could just see his tongue like, you could see him very tiny saying Yezdan. He repeated Yezdan's name so much. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what the names mean. Inspired here. Hari, supreme, absolute in the Vedas. It refers to the one who removes darkness and illusion, God who takes away all the sorrows of his devotees. Paramatma, primordial self, or the self beyond, who is spiritually identical with the absolute and ultimate reality. Allah, the one and only God in Islam. This is the standard Arabic word for God. Ahura Mazda is the God of Zoroastrianism, the one true God, bringer of both light and darkness. God, our God in English, supreme ultimate reality, being perfect in power, wisdom, and goodness. Yezdan, the creator of good. Who, in Sufism, who is the pronoun used with Allah or God and is used as the name of God. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Debbie, what cultural tradition does Yezdan come out of?
Well, I'm assuming it's either it's Zoroastrianism or even more ancient, because it was Shariarji's favorite. And when I did a little research on it, it wasn't that easy to see, because it was also spelled Yazdan, Yazdani. So if you could do a little more thorough background on it and let me know, I will add it to my notes. I think
Okay.
it's a bit of a mystery, but I know that Shariarji loved it. Okay, my friends.
What did you say about Kuda? I missed it.
Khuda is the Urdu or Hindi version of God.
Okay,
God in
thank
his
you.
God is in sort of not at the personal level, but at the impersonal level, Khuda.
So that would fit right in here with this, because most of these names were, and Baba said they are one. So I can't help but think that when we sing them, we are singing the oneness of all religions. And we always need that, don't we? Because of all the, apparent divisions of that oneness. There should only be that oneness. Okay. The 7 names of God. Jai Baba.